So there's this effort by some reactionaries online to try to get like a Gamergate 2.0. And the biggest one that I've seen lately that I was not arguing with, but like responded to on Twitter is Boogie. So he posted this with like no additional context, but I'll fill you in. Hot take. Video games are supposed to be fun, not lectures about why being a white man is bad. And then he links to his like Gamergate 2 is here. And it's just so crazy because like as a white dude, I don't ever feel like there was a time where a game beat me over the head with some message about how it was bad to be white. Like I've been playing games since I was like
he
4.
name one title. Like every single time I've responded with name one title, just one. Give me one. I just want one example. If you this is such
some
a big
guy
problem,
responded to you, Lance.
You know.
I think it was somebody guy who responded to you, Lance, who was like BioShock Infinite, and I was like,
I was
like the whole point of that game, like midway through that game, they say this is not what they spell it out in like the most there's a whole section in BioShock 2 where you fight the resistance of this racist society, right? And the resistance, you're like, okay, these guys are good, and then you're like, oh, these guys are kind of insane. Like they're doing wild shit to the point where they're gonna like kill kids and also do shitty things, right? We can talk about that later. But there's a point where you literally see somebody who is not white about to kill a child. You have to kill her, right? It is the most blatant, like, hey, we're not saying all white people, okay? We're not saying that.
Even if the entire theme was centered around people who want to be plantation owners are bad, that's not the same as all white people are bad. Because like it's the same thing when people were pointing out Wolfenstein. And I was like, Wolfenstein, the thing is Nazis are bad. Nazis are bad, right?
What does that say about you? What does that say about them that they're defending it and that they're like this means white men? I'm like, we didn't say that. You said that. You said
if you feel attacked in a game where you have to kill Nazis,
the two. They're giving some identity to that.
It says something if that offends you and you think that they're talking about you when they're criticizing Nazis. Like I feel like that's a little bit of a self-tell, but like Boogie is trying to grift now off of this whole alt-right Gamergate 2 thing because there's this consulting firm called Sweet Baby Inc. It's like 16 employees and they do a lot of work with like other companies to supplement their writing, side stories, stuff like that. Like it's a consulting firm, right? They've worked on the biggest, most successful games, God of War, Spider-Man 2. So it's a really like powerful company. Or successful company, I should say. Yeah. But conservatives are portraying them as like a powerful company in the sense that like they're taking things that were written and they're swapping it out. Like make this more woke. Okay, this white guy, take him out, put a black character in. And they're trying to make it seem as if like this company is the reason why all of gaming went woke. When in actuality, like they're just supplemental. Like,
do they know what a consulting firm is? Like
that's what I wanted to say.
It's a contract to do specific work that they're asked to do.
But the situation gets. Do you know how it started, Mike? Did you look into it at all?
It kind of has been bubbling up for a while. So there was a Steam curated page called something like Sweet Baby Ink Detector.
It was Sweet Baby Ink Detector, and then they and one of the people from Sweet Baby Ink who was pretty upset with them posted it on X and it had the Streisand effect. Where like, hey, you should report this group.
Exactly.
A bunch of people joined the group and it created backlash. Now, I will say this though, like 100%, like the allegation that Sweet Baby Inc. is like somehow wokeifying games is fucking ridiculous. Like that's not how game development works. Like them saying like, did you make this character black? If you've ever worked in a professional environment and you say, hey, we have to change the race of a character, that's like 10,000 meetings, right? That's so many meetings. Like you go into Inception at that point, right? But like the person who was at the center of those was very aggressive, had some pretty like fucked up tweets in the past, and like literally after like the thing was starting to die down, after Toriyama died, they posted like a pretty anti-Toriyama tweet like right after and then it just became an insane kind of thing, and now
to your point, though, even if the head of Sweet Baby Inc. Was literally saying something like, "We need to kill all white people," that's no direct.
That's not the head. It's just it's one of the employees. It's one of the.
Well, either way, it's a team of 16 people. This is a consulting firm. Like anyone who's saying this is part of a grand conspiracy doesn't understand that every single major corporation who wants to have public-facing branding consults consultant firms all the time. That's like this is not a bombshell revelation. Even
not at all. Sweet Baby Inc. is the video game. Sweet Baby Inc. is the video game World Economic Forum, apparently.
Yeah.
You will eat the bugs. You will change the race of the characters in the video game.
Well, they were specifically making allegations like, so one of the main characters in Alan Wake 2, Saga, is a black woman. And they're like, okay, Sweet Baby Inc., who worked on this game, they race swapped Saga. It was supposed to be a white woman. And basically they came out like, no, she was always a black woman.
Exactly,
And so, like, I think that you're right, Zed, that it certainly was Streisand affected. And I think that in trying to get that, like, little curation page removed, it ended up having, like, the opposite effect. Part of the problem was that those people were, like, using it to harass them. But I think that they ended up giving too much attention to it. And then it kind of emboldened these people. But now they're trying to turn this into a broader thing, and it's like spiraling, and it's being called Gamergate 2 by dipshits like Boogie and probably the Quartering, who want to make it into this thing. Too. Yeah, the pronouns guy, because Gamergate 2, that's like money on YouTube, right? Like if you go back to the anti-SJW era, you could shit out some dumbass video about how woke this dumbass college student is and how stupid they are with their pink hair and get like hundreds of thousands of views. So like it's a cash cow. That's why they're trying to like instigate a Gamergate 2. But in actuality, like it's one fucking consulting firm and they don't have all this power. But like any type of diversity is being like credited to Sweet Baby Inc. So there's a scene in Spider-Man 2 or a side mission in Spider-Man 2 where it's like, okay, you have to help this gay kid set up something so he can ask his boyfriend to homecoming. And it's like, woke. But like they tried to make it seem as if this was like shoehorned in when all of the side missions are very personal. Like there's one where you're helping this lady find her dad who has dementia. And he shares his story about how he met his wife. There's another one where you play as Miles Morales' girlfriend. And she's deaf, so like they kind of give you the perspective of you can't hear, and you're helping this girl with her art who doesn't feel like it's a very personal thing. So it's not like that felt shoehorned in, but they're trying to make it seem as if like this is DEI but for video games. Yeah,
I had no idea video games got so woke now. They got deaf characters in there now. Unbelievable! Get out of here.
Rainbow flags too.
Rainbow flags.
I just want to clarify.
It's a pretty cool sequence.
Lance, I wasn't defending.
Oh, I didn't think you were.
Harassment. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like this culture war thing, all of these guys, like all these guys are marketing guys, right? Like they all built their lives off of marketing, off of grievance and outrage, right? Yeah. And so, especially when you are in a consulting firm where you are trying to make sure the outward appearance of a game, like the intentions of a game and the content within a game, is reflective in a way that makes it seem understanding of the context of what things are, right? You have to be really careful about the context.
If this was culturally sensitive. That's apparently what they were consulted for.
Yeah. So I like 100%. I completely understand what the thing is, but like especially with it's like if you are near a hornet's nest, right? I'm not saying don't like remove the hornet's nest. I'm saying understand how to remove. I think posting it on X, a platform owned by a guy who like retweets anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and is now co-signing people to go after your company in a way that is insane and completely incorrect, right? Is probably not the wave to do. And I understand 100% you're getting harassed and everything like that. As somebody who works in the game industry, I know quite a few people who have been harassed for random shit. Like I know a bunch of Project L developers who have been harassed for being too woke. All that shit is insane and annoying, right? But I think especially with dealing with these really dangerous people, because they are dangerous. People like Boogie, people like Stuttering Craig, people like fucking low tier, like all of these guys will take any mountain and any molehill and make it into a mountain because it's easy for their brand to do. You know, and so
they've all changed it too. They did the whole goalpost where now they're saying that I just said I want games to be fun, or we're just saying we want
that's right.
Fun.
Yeah,
who's on the other side of that issue though? Who's like, oh,
I want games not to be
shitty.
I want to. That's also, why I play Dragon's Dogma and Elden Ring, so I get my ass kicked.
Yeah. I think it's heels versus babyface times 10. You know?
Yeah.
That guy, who was like complaining about the Starfield pronouns when they came out.
What they don't realize is that, of
that
course, he's still around. Yeah. But like one thing that these people don't realize is that like these companies, like I think that being woke, for lack of a better word, is an inevitability because gaming now is such a huge industry. It's no longer just like nerds in their basements. Like there's a bunch of different people. So as that market expands, they're going to want to capture a wider audience. There's going to be more characters that aren't just white dudes, right? Like Drake from Uncharted, like it's not just gonna be white people forever. Yep. Of course, it's gonna expand because it's getting bigger, and that's a good sign. Like you want the industry to grow in that way, but they can't grapple with it. And so it's like, oh my god, this is white replacement in video games now. It's digitally too. We're being erased. This is white genocide. It's just so frustrating. And then people have an incentive to kind of like play to these grievances because it does really well on YouTube. And that's what really irritated me about Boogie. And like to Lance's point, like everybody asked him, and I think he even kind of tacitly admitted that like, oh yeah, I don't have an example. But like, what's the example? And he couldn't even come up with one because there's no game that tells you it's bad to be white, right? Yep. Like it's just, and they say that, okay, look, I don't want to think about politics when I play video games. I don't want to be hit over the head with this. But what they mean by that is like, politics to them is like, oh, there's a gay person. How is that political though? Like to you, it's political because you don't.
There's
like
someone
them.
who's not white. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody who's not in your bubble. It's like it's
exactly
anything, any sort of identity based thing is not like you want to be, which is so fucking hilarious to me because like half of the like were we in this era like for a while saying that we want our games to challenge us. Like that's the whole thing of like why From Software is a thing. Like you want games to challenge you. Like even those games intellectually challenge you and make you go through disturbing things and even things that you are not comfortable with necessarily. You're telling me something that is normal to everybody else that you are not comfortable with. All of a sudden you draw the line at, oh, there's a gay person here. Oh, there's an Arab person here. Oh, there's like that in Starfield, a pronoun has destroyed your suspension of disbelief, right? Like that's you're in a fucking starship playing Skyrim in space, but a fucking like that is the big, and it's just like what I still just can't keep getting back to like why this is like a strength fantasy for people like Boogie and all these people. It's like it's such a soft fucking it's so soft, dude. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like that's good. That's the line for you? Like, that's fucked up your time? Like, how are you at a party, bro? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's so weird and unhinged.
I don't think
and
he goes to many parties. I think that's a bad question to ask.
I think it's a way to try to stay relevant. Like, it's just like, it's the lowest common denominator. It's guaranteed going to get some kind of an audience. And it's really easy because there's no thinking involved, and your audience that'll be into it also does not think. So you could just spout off, not make any sense, and as long as your top line is comfortable with them or familiar to them, that you're complaining about some shit because you're white, that's the in. That's all you need.
That's absolutely right for the influencers, right? I think it's also telling that like. Anything someone said, any sort of identity they view as, but like white is an identity. The issue is that they view white as the default.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they are white. So
also, white is a color. It's not even like an identity. Like there's Irish, Celtic, Italian. Like there's so many.
Right. Well, it's also telling people. It's also very telling who identifies as white instead of a specific like ethnicity, like you said, like Irish or Italian or something like that.
Yeah.
English. Be proud of being Irish. That's very different than saying that you're proud because you're part of like the white race or something like that. Like
right. No, absolutely.
Hell yeah, be proud to be Irish. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair to Boogie, we were
Italian,
talking
not so
somebody...
much. If you're Italian, keep it on the DL.
Don't say that he's Italian. Okay, that technically wasn't extremely racist.
Yeah, I'm married to an Italian, so I can also talk shit about Italians as well. I have a blank check for that.
I don't think that's how that works, Mike.
I'm dating a white person, so I can just be a shitty person to white people.
That's true.
It's a thing.
That's true.
It's a thing.
Forever.
My girlfriend. I met my girlfriend's parents. I'm like, where are you guys? Like, what's your like? I know you're white, but like, where's your, and like, oh, we're British. I'm like, I'm Indian. That's not a great thing. That's not, this is an awkward situation. And so every so often when she says something bad, I'm like, just like what's it? Just like the Raj back in 1948 and shit like that. I give her shit.
She colonized your heart.
She colonized my heart. She colonized my heart.